Hello, looks like we're live. I think we're live. Hi, I feel like I haven't gone live in so long, so I'm like, this looks so different. There we go, there I am. Hello, everyone. Happy March. It is March, and it is my most favorite month of the year, and that's why I decided to bring these lives back because I've missed doing these lives. I've taken a little step back from things for the last couple of months, and I really realized how much I missed it. But anyways, we are back. My name is Kayla. I go by Coach Kayla. I'm an online plant-based dietitian, nutrition, and run coach. And this month is my favorite month because it is National Nutrition Month. And it is my birthday month. So I may be a little biased, but those are some of my favorite things. Nutrition, birthday. How could you not love this month? And spring. It's supposed to be spring as well. So that's why I love March. So National Nutrition Month, this year's theme is Fuel for the Future. And I absolutely love this theme because it really ties into a lot of the things that I talk about a lot. And part of the reason why I've been vegan is because of the environment. And so I just love this theme this year. And if you're not familiar, every year the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, which is the governing body of all registered dietitians, has this campaign every month in March for National Nutrition Month, and there's usually a specific theme. And so this year is Fuel for the Future. So what I decided that I wanted to do to celebrate is go live every Wednesday at 7 o'clock Eastern Time and talk about a topic on this theme around fueling for the future. So today, what I want to talk about is eating with the environment in mind. And as I said, this ties in really well to plant-based nutrition, which all of you probably know that follow me. You may be plant-based yourself or may have found me that way. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I want to give you I think I have at least 4 tips that we can do, or strategies we can do to eat with the environment in mind. So here we go. And before we get started, if you are live, let me know. I love for you if you comment below or say hi, or say #live or #replay. So I know you watch this on replay as well. So I know you watch this video, or comment below your thoughts. Any questions you have, please feel free to comment below as well. And I can try to answer those either live as we go or later on as well as fine as well. So number 1, eat plant-based. Eating plant-based is actually the best thing you can do for the environment. And why is that? That is because by eating plant-based foods, when we eat animal-based products, we use a lot more resources to produce those animal products. So by eating plant-based foods, it really helps to use less of those resources. So less water is huge, right? Because we don't really have unlimited resources. And I think now we're really figuring that out. We're really finding that out and realizing that we need to protect our environment and really do what we can do to allow our resources to last as long as they possibly can. So we want to use less resources if we can to produce our food. So by going plant-based, this really helps the environment. And as I said, we've mentioned before, this is very common. It's a very common and popular reason why people actually go vegan or plant-based is for the environment, especially those if they study the environment or really are into that. I used to work with college students, and a lot of the environmental measures that we're studying environmentalism were vegan, and we're plant-based. So that for some people is a very is a reason why they may go vegan. And hi Bill, thank you for joining. Thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight. So yes, so eating plant-based can be very can be helpful to preventing or using less resources. So that is helpful. Anything else on that? If anyone has anything else to add too, feel free. I think that's it for now. And number 2 is reduce your packaging. So this actually, by reducing packaging, can also help us to eat healthier. But I will say sometimes even our healthier foods can be packaged in plastic. And we know plastic is not great for the environment. So if you do go to a farmer's market, that's probably the easiest way to get your produce, is go to the farmer's market. And so then you don't buy your produce in packaging. I know where I get my groceries, I mainly shop at Aldi. And that can be sometimes a struggle. There's sometimes a lot of times there are. But I have found now lately that they've been using less packaging, which has actually been really nice. And so I really like that. I like that I can have a cucumber and it's not wrapped in plastic. Or I can grab apples and I can grab them individually instead of in the bag. Yes, there may be, a lot more hands on that produce, but just make sure to wash it when you get home. Really rinse it off, right? In case there are any germs or anything on the outside. But if you can, get food without packaging. And another thing is, when we think about trying to eat food without packaging, we realize that we do have to it really eliminates actually a lot of foods. I should say it limits foods, as in a lot of our processed foods are going to be packaged. So it really makes you think about what is more environmental friendly to use, what has less packaging, but also can help to eat healthier. So hopefully that makes sense. And in packaging is just not great for our landfills, right? Plastic is not great. So if we can reduce our packaging, that is also helpful for the environment. Number 3, use reusable baggies. I wish I had these right now to show you, but I'm not in my kitchen. But I have these reusable baggies that I found on Amazon. They are plastic, which is the only thing I don't love. I do try to store a lot of my food in glass containers versus plastic. But these reusable baggies are really nice, and I use them all the time, and I use them to replace my plastic disposable baggies. So that's really better for the environment, right? Instead of throwing those plastic baggies every time I use them, I throw them out. And I use a lot of bags because I store my food in them. I also take my lunch to work, so I put food in them. I use them all the time. And so reusable baggies are really convenient. They're really nice. Yes, it does take more work because you have to wash them off. They are dishwasher safe, which is nice. But it really is really helpful for to help our environment. And then number 4 is compost and recycle. And I know this is not doable for everybody, and this really is dependent on where you live. I know if you know me, I have moved a lot of different places and lived a lot of different places where some places were good at recycling, some were not. And some places that I lived, I was in a position where I could compost. And then other places I lived where I've had a really hard time figuring out how to compost or where to put my compost. Because if I did try to compost, I didn't have an area where I could compost. So I would just set aside all my produce, and eventually it would just rot and smell really, really bad and grow bugs. Don't recommend you do that, but if you're able to actually compost, have a compost machine, or able to mix it with dirt and sticks and all of that to actually make compost. And if you have a garden or have a community garden, you could take the compost there or use it for your garden to give your soil more nutrients. So that's a great way to really just give back to Earth what the Earth's giving us, right? And so composting is really great. And so, yeah, compost is a good thing to do if you can. And then the other thing is recycle. And again, I know this isn't always doable either, depending on where you live, but if you can recycle, please recycle. It really is helpful. And as I said, I know places that have been really good at this where what's made it a lot easier to do. And then I've lived other places that just make it a lot harder to do. But anything that I know can possibly be recycled, really try to make sure it gets in the recycling. And sometimes it just takes us a little more time to do. And you know, at your home, I think the best way to do it is making sure you have separate garbages. You know, have a garbage, have a compost, and have a recycle bin. You know, have separate ones. So, and then teach your household, teach everyone how to do that. And that's what they do in restaurants, right? They have separate areas where we can put those things. People may not always pay attention and actually recycle, but once you know what can be recycled, I think it becomes really easier and second nature. And I just encourage you to do that, to recycle if you can. And with that, I think that's really all that I have for my tips tonight. So to just summarize, number 1, eat plant-based. Number 2 is reduce packaging. Number 3, use reusable baggies. And number 4, compost and recycle. So these are all ways that we can eat and keep the environment in mind. And so again, I just want to say happy National Nutrition Month. And if anyone has any questions about any of this information that I shared today, or have any questions about nutrition, feel free to reach out to me. You can reach out to me here on Facebook, on Instagram, or you can email me at kaylaslaterrd@gmail.com. And I look forward to hearing from you. And thank you so much for joining or watching this later. And if you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out. Thanks so much. Bye. Have a good night.